When you think about the high-stakes war for AI dominance, you'd probably expect the world's most valuable company to be way out in front, right? But a surprising story is unfolding behind the scenes, one that reveals a deep vulnerability and shows just how ferocious this battle for talent has become. So what's really going on inside the walls of Cupertino?
Well, believe it or not, some industry recruiters are calling it a crisis of confidence. And even though Apple is making all these headlines with its new Apple Intelligence, behind the scenes, there's talk of a serious brain drain. They're losing the very people they need to build the future of AI.
And look, this isn't just about a few employees deciding they want a change of scenery. We're talking about a troubling exodus of top minds here. It's a pattern, and it points to a much deeper challenge for the company.
I mean, just look at this list. We are talking about a huge loss of talent. You've got senior researchers, heads of entire departments like Ru Mingpeng and Qi Yong. They're not just leaving, they're walking right over to direct competitors. And you can see the pattern, right? A ton of them are heading straight to Meta. This isn't just people switching jobs. For Apple, this is a major strategic loss.
Okay, so to really get the impact here, you gotta understand just how small Apple's core AI team is. We're talking about the foundation models team, the group building its fundamental AI, and it's only about 50 to 60 people. So when you lose this many key players from a team that small, every single person who walks out the door is a massive blow.
So that leads to the obvious question, right? If Apple is losing all this top-tier talent, where are they all going? Well, it turns out one company in particular is snapping them up and benefiting in a very big way.
And that company is Meta. They've become the main beneficiary here, aggressively recruiting this talent and immediately putting them to work on one of the most ambitious AI projects we're seeing today.
So what exactly is Meta doing with all this new brainpower? Well, they have a really clear goal. They're taking their powerful new Llama 3 model and they're aiming to build the most intelligent, freely available AI assistant on the planet, period.
And listen, this isn't some abstract thing that might happen years from now. Meta AI is already being woven directly into the apps you probably use every single day. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. It can pull real-time info from the web, help you figure out what to cook for dinner based on what's in your fridge, and even create animated GIFs on the fly as you type. What this really shows is that Meta is turning that poached talent into actual features you can use, and they're moving incredibly fast.
Okay, so this whole Apple versus Meta talent raid is fascinating, but it's really just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. To really get what's going on in the AI race, we've got to zoom out. We need to look at the different strategies, the different playbooks that all the big tech giants are using to try and win this thing.
And luckily for us, a really fascinating academic paper from City University of London helps us do just that. It actually breaks down how these massive companies are organizing all their innovation efforts, and it reveals 4 totally distinct approaches to fighting the AI war.
The key concept from the paper is something called a Corporate Innovation System, or CIS for short. Basically, just think of it as the entire web a company builds around itself, with universities, startups, its own research labs, and it's all designed to funnel innovation back to the main company and, of course, make as much money as possible. Each of the tech giants has built one, but here's the kicker. They all work in very different ways.
All right, so let's dive in and deconstruct these 4 main playbooks. This is where it gets really interesting, because you start to see how each company's unique vibe and business goals are shaping their entire strategy for AI.
First up is Google. The paper calls their strategy the university, and it makes perfect sense, right? They operate with this really open, research-heavy approach. They love publishing papers, they love exploring the fundamentals of AI. It's a lot like a top-tier academic institution.
And you can really see this university model when you look at the data. I mean, Google completely dominates the top AI conferences. They have the most employees who also have positions at universities, and they file an absolute ton of patents. They are absolutely phenomenal at pure, groundbreaking research. But, and this is a big but, as the paper points out, that strength doesn't always translate into a clear business advantage. Just think about the kind of messy launch of Bard.
Okay, next up is Microsoft, and their playbook is called the frenemy. This is all about smart partnerships and big investments, even with companies they directly compete with. It's a strategy designed to make them the essential gatekeeper for the whole industry.
It's actually a really clever playbook. So they pour billions into a partner like OpenAI, which gives them exclusive access to amazing tech. But here's the genius part. They also make money when OpenAI's other customers, even Microsoft's own rivals like Salesforce, use that same tech. They've basically positioned themselves as this central bridge in the entire global AI ecosystem. It means they can win no matter who else succeeds.
All right, then we have Amazon, the secret keeper. Their whole approach is super pragmatic and, well, secretive. For Amazon, AI is just a tool, and it's only useful if it directly helps the customer, which, at the end of the day, helps their bottom line.
So, totally unlike Google, Amazon couldn't care less about publishing academic papers. They value secrecy above all else. Their philosophy is pretty simple. If some new flashy AI model doesn't actually give them a bigger advantage than an older, reliable method, they'll just stick with what works. All of their AI innovation is just laser-focused on one thing, making their business more profitable and the customer experience better.
And that brings us full circle, back to Meta, the company that started this whole story. The paper calls their strategy the application-centered. And it's because their entire AI system is the most narrowly focused of all four. It's designed almost exclusively to make their existing social media platforms better. Everything they do in AI research is tied directly to their products. So think about computer vision that can recognize what's happening in an Instagram video, or the AI that's needed to build out the metaverse. They're not trying to be like Microsoft and build this giant platform for everyone. Nope. They're building very specific tools to make their own apps stickier and more engaging for you.
Okay, so there you have it. 4 tech giants, 4 totally different playbooks. But what does all this corporate battling actually mean for you and me? For the average user, how is this going to shape our daily digital lives?
Well, think about it like this. Amazon's secret keeper strategy means their AI is going to feel totally invisible. It'll just be the seamless improvement to your shopping. Google's university approach, that's going to give you incredibly powerful, cutting-edge tools that sometimes feel like you're using a public beta. Microsoft's frenemy playbook means their AI is going to be everywhere, powering all the other apps you use for work and for play. And finally, Meta's AI, that's going to be deeply social. It's going to completely change how you create content and connect with people on their platforms.
You see, each of these playbooks is a multi-billion-dollar bet on a different version of what our future looks like. And as these giants battle it out, it leaves us with one last, really important question. In this massive race to dominate the next era of tech, who really wins in the end? Is it the company that builds the most powerful system? Or is it us, the users, who will have to live with it all?